If it's a day that ends in Y, there's something racist happening in Formula One. Most recently, as many of you probably heard, it was Dr. Helmut Marko of the Red Bull Racing Organization. Dr. Marko is, of course, in charge of the Red Bull Junior program. He is considered a special advisor to Red Bull. As many people will know, he is there every race weekend. He's in the garage, he's everywhere. And he likes to say a lot of racist things. He is high up in the organization. He's not just some lower type person, as people will know. So far, Red Bull has not made any statement apologizing for his remarks or saying that his remarks were wrong or that there was any issue with them. For people that may have missed what happened, Helmut Marko gave an interview, as he's wont to do, and he commented about Sergio Perez, the non-Max Verstappen driver on the Red Bull racing team. He said that he is South American, and that's why his head is not as focused as Max or Sebastian's, referring to Sebastian Vettel, who used to race for Red Bull back in the day. So obviously, Checo is not South American. A lot of people have focused a lot on that. And while that's very funny because Mexico is in North America, that is not the main issue. The main issue is this is a blatantly racist remark. It could not be more clear what he means by South American versus someone like Max or Sebastian, who are European. Now, Checo is also white. He's not an indigenous Mexican or someone, he is also white. However, as a Mexican, he has a different culture and ethnicity, obviously, as compared to Europeans. And that is what Marco is commenting on. He is saying that people from, well, he said South America, but in any event, let's pretend he meant Mexico, or even if he meant South America, are inferior to white Europeans. This is the attitude of your basic garden variety racist who is a neo-Nazi and goes to meetings and etc. You do not have to be a card-carrying member of any group or go to meetings or burn crosses on people's lawns or do anything like that to be a racist. I just want to repeat that because that's something a lot of people get confused about. They think that in order to be a racist, you have to do racist things. No, you can actually just say racist things. You can have racist attitudes and have that affect the way you go about your job, your whatever the case may be. In this case, it's clear that Helmut does not view Checo with the same regard that he views Max, Sebastian, or I'm sure any of the other drivers on the grid who are white Europeans. That is demonstrably true because he has made comments in the past about Lewis Hamilton, many comments, and he has made lots of other racist remarks as well. What's significant about this being the case over and over and over again in Formula One is that nobody ever loses their job. Nobody's ever reprimanded. Nobody's ever, when it's somebody that's a low level person, or if it's a we did have Yuri Vips was thrown out of the Red Bull Junior program for using the N-word on stream on Twitch, I believe it was. That's because he was part of their junior program, not important, a junior driver, someone without any clout or sway in the organization. So, and even that they did, I think, really after outcry from fans and people online who were saying that this is unacceptable. Helmut Marko, though, is not going to be reprimanded. He will keep his position. He will continue to speak to media, no doubt. He's not going to be sidelined in any way. If I'm wrong, and I hope that I am, I will be more than happy to eat my words. But given past examples and past experience with how the sport deals with people expressing racist, misogynistic, and other disgusting, discriminatory beliefs, I don't think anything's going to change. I think that it's important to also underscore why this happens. The diversity or lack thereof in Formula One and in motorsport in general is appalling, just appalling. If you are a U.S. racing fan, currently we're actually celebrating the USF Pro 2000 or whatever it's called. I forget the official full name. That championship was won by Miles Rowe, who is a Black American racer. He is the first Black American racer to win a single-seater championship. I think the first, yeah, definitely the first Black American. Obviously, there have been ones in other countries. So that's very exciting. But in IndyCar as well, there's very little diversity, and that's why they've actually set up this whole program that has led to more. But I just want to quote very quickly the words of someone who used to work in Formula One and doesn't anymore. He is Black, British, and he was working as a graphic designer for Formula One, and then he actually worked for Red Bull Racing as well. And he said on the website formerly known as Twitter, I had a degree of guilt leaving working in F1. Whether or not I liked it, I was in a small group of Black professionals representing for a lot of people around the world. Regardless of your opinion of me, my work, the organizations I worked for, leaving meant that number went down. There isn't enough diversity or diversity of thought in the sport at every level. That part is in caps, every level. When there is, issues like the below will reduce down. And what he was referring to was a tweet from another member of the F1 community on Twitter who said that we need more Black people in Formula One spaces, in all spaces, not just in terms of the drivers and the mechanics and all that sort of thing, but journalists, copywriters, editors, graphic designers, pundits, etc. And that goes obviously for lots of other things. We need more Black people. We need more women. We need more Latino people. We need more queer people. We need disabled people. We need all kinds of people in this space, to make it more diverse. And again, the diversity of thought is also what's important, because you can have someone who is not white but they will still think similarly or come from a similar background perhaps as the people who are already there. So I don't know what to say anymore. It's difficult to be a fan of the sport. I feel morally compromised for many reasons following it. This is just another example of one. And yeah, we have to just demand better. We have to try to, as fans, bring these kinds of things up, to keep talking about them, to keep discussing them, bringing them to the fore, and talking about the fact that this is unacceptable. And just think about how this looks for a global sport that is seeking, I'm sure, to have fans in every country and every people who speak every language, every ethnicity, etc., to have a prominent member of the number one team right now in the sport saying that South Americans are inferior to Europeans. I guess you don't want any South American fans in Formula One. I guess you don't want any South American fans than Red Bull. I guess, this is not important to you. And again, it should be important to the rest of us. If you're not South American, if you're white, if you're European and white, whatever the case may be, this should be unacceptable. This is the sort of thing that a person should lose their job over, or if not lose their job, then lose their forward-facing status in an organization, lose their ability to talk to the press, et cetera, et cetera. Red Bull should be apologizing. Formula One should be apologizing. The FIA should be saying something. I haven't checked if we have statements from Formula One or the FIA yet, but there has not been anything from Red Bull, and you would expect that they would be the first ones to make some kind of a statement. And so, yeah, it's no wonder that Checo is now considering leaving the team after next season, which is his contract is good for all of 2024. Obviously, there's been a lot of speculation if he might leave earlier due to, some lack of performance this season. But he's obviously not supported by this team. He is not held in high regard by, again, a senior member of this team. And not just not held in high regard, but considered racially inferior. So yeah, we have to do better. Formula One has to do better. This is unacceptable.